let's get straight to the point. I'm present. You all know me from the Discord server. I'm the black guy. You all know me. My room is a mess. Just ignore that, okay? So I want to get straight to the point, okay? There's a list for the best festival units that came out in this update. There's going to be divided into 3 parts. They're all no, okay, about that. It's going to be divided into 3 categories. There's beginners. There is support, which is only 1 unit, and there is late game, which is basically the main list. I'm going to start from the beginners because they're the most boring part. Okay, there is 2 units that is basically the only beginners. There is Cube Ventriloquist. There is Magical Ribbon. These 2 are vital for beginners. I'll explain Cube Ventriloquist first. He's from the Dream Banner. He is the first hybrid unit of his kind. Hybrid units are both ground placement and hill placements. So basically just a glorified hill placement unit, but with more placements. So that's good. And he is a random unit, but random comprising of only dots. Said dots are all really damn good. Okay? He costs 15,000 at max. His damage stat is akin to a mid-game unit. He's a beginner unit, by the way. And I haven't even mentioned his cost. He costs 15,000. I'll show the stats here. They're probably here somewhere, probably covering my face. I don't know. This is my first time recording a video and editing it. I suck at this job, so excuse me. Yeah, okay. So the randoms comprise of, I believe, Flame 2, Demon Flame, and Gravity. There's probably more, but I have no idea. So that's for Cube Ventriloquist. You basically kind of need him if you are a beginner. And now I'm going to explain Magical Ribbon. Magical Ribbon. Oh wait, hold on. Cube Ventriloquist's best trait is TFO, Fallen One, and he is a 1 placement unit. For his cost, he's amazing. Okay, he does a lot of DPS. I don't know how much, but he does a lot of it. Okay, now we're actually gonna move on. Magical Ribbon. She is a 4 placement unit. Her best trait is you shouldn't even roll on her. She's a beginner unit, okay? Just get Giant Slayer, Momentum, who gives a fuck, okay? She is 4 placement. She is a hill unit. Hill placement. Already amazing for a beginner unit. Her damage stat, DPS, is, again, a mid-game unit level. She's a beginner unit, but she is a mid-game unit in terms of damage, okay? And her passive, this is what matters a lot. It's Passion. Again, right here, probably. Passion does Charm, and it also does Love. Charm is a glorified stun, okay? It stuns, but it stuns resist type enemies. So, as it says, you can stun resist enemies and stun metals. This matters a lot, okay? It stuns metals as well. And Love is a guaranteed critical hit. 2.5 times damage, true damage, not affected by anything, and especially can hit metals. And it's only guaranteed when attacking a charm unit. And Passion also has Charm, so it builds off of that. So, what I'm getting at here, she is cheap. She does mid-game units levels of damage. She stuns, and she crits. Yeah. And not only that, her AoE is massive. Her range is global. Her range is 354, I believe? Yeah, it's better than Guts. You know Guts, the worst plus unit in the game, gets outclassed range-wise by a beginner unit. It's really fucking funny. And, she has a nuke. For a beginner, she has a nuke. It's right here, probably. 250 million damage nuke per placement. She's really good, okay? You bring her to story, you use her to nuke all the bosses, okay? You use Cube Ventriloquist for early game, you use her for early game as well, mid game to late game, and then you just nuke the boss with her 4 placements, because her ability is a black ability, it's not global, okay? So, that's Magical Ribbon. Moving on, let's go to the support section of this game, okay? Support section, there's only one, right? I'm looking at my list. Okay, yeah, there's only one support unit. Railgun. This, her, railgun. This bitch that you see a lot in like those compilation videos way back when you were a horny little teenager. No comment. She, you know Esper Rival? You know how good he is on a damage farm? She's just a better version of that. She has Knockout, a new passive, which is Knockback and Stun. Knockback, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. You knock enemies back when you hit them. It has a cooldown of 16 seconds, I believe. Her Stun is a stun. It's a stun. And then for her ability, she is basically just Esper Rival tuned up to the max. Her ability is the exact same as his, which is effectively teleports every single enemy on the map back to the starting point. So back to the entrance. Like for example, the map is this long. Enemies are right here. Use your ability, they teleport back immediately to the spawn. Bam, just like that. And not only that, she has a time stop directly after that for 20 seconds. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. 20 seconds time stop with that. Imagine that. Wonderful. Wonderful for damage farming. She is a need for damage farming, but although replaceable with Esper Rival, but she's a lot better. She is a need for weeklies. Probably not a need. I actually don't know. I'm probably gonna talk to Enki about that. She's just wonderful. Okay, she's one of the best supports in the entire game. You need her basically. That's that. Now, for the juicy part. 7 minutes of, oh my god, 7 minutes I'm only talking about, okay. This is probably going to be like a half-hour video. This file is probably going to be like 2 gigabytes, I don't know. So, now I'm going to talk about the late game. Late game units. This is the juicy part, okay? I'm going to start from the bottom to the top. This is probably going to be very, very controversial. People are probably going to kill me about this. I don't care. I'm doing this because I can, and I'm bored, okay? Bottom of the list. I forgot to mention him. Daima Goku. Daima Goku was supposed to be in the beginner section, by the way, but he is dog shit, okay? Do not look at him. Do not even look at him. He's bad, okay? No, okay, just ignore him, okay? He's a youth lead. Sure, he's a youth lead. He's from the Dream Banner. He has a good damage stat. He's actually pretty good, actually. Who gives a fuck? Just don't look at him, okay? He's mid. Okay, now, let's look forwards. The bottom tier, we have Nagamo. People are probably already gonna kill me, but Nagamo is a random. No, that's second. He's a chase unit. Chase units, pretty self-explanatory. They chase the units. They chase the enemies around until they die. Like he doesn't chase them. Okay. What I mean by chase is that the entire placement of Nagamo is fixed to the enemy. So if the enemy is like, okay, so the track is like here, okay? The enemy is like right here. You place Nagamo here. Nagamo teleports directly on this guy and attacks this guy, and it follows. When the enemy dies, Nagamo then goes to the next enemy, which is depending on his targeting. If it's nearest, he goes here. If it's last, he goes here. If he's strongest, he probably goes here. I don't fucking know. He goes first, he's here. That's a chase unit. Sounds good on paper, but then you realize the entire placement changes. The placement. So what about your buffer? Yeah, you see the problem now, right? If Nagamo is right over here, you place Idol right over here, she's not gonna reach buff. Her buff is not gonna reach. No. So he gets fucked, basically. That's a chase unit. Okay. Now, he's a random unit. Albeit his random is really, really good, okay? It's Deadly Crit. Deadly Crit is critical with Bloodthirsty 2. And he's a Rupture unit. Rupture is really, really good. I'll probably show it here. Rupture is 75% damage stat every second and 150% damage stat every 5 seconds, buffed by TFO, which is his best trait, by the way. He's a 1 placement. It's permanent and it does slow. And then around that, he also does crit bleed. Crit Bleed is one of the best passives in the entire game. Probably the best passive in the entire game. I'm not sure about that. And then he has those three. I'm pretty sure he has more. I don't believe I remember. Oh, Hemorrhage. He has Hemorrhage. Just Hemorrhage, not the bleed aspect. Just Hemorrhage. And I'm pretty sure he has one more. But I'm not too sure. I'm not gonna shit on my ass on this one. But he has these four. Probably has more, but they're useless enough for me to not remember them. Yeah. On placement, he does have one SPA. But the issue is his damage stat is atrocious. It's really bad, okay? But the only good aspect about him is that he's kind of cheap. 250k, probably gonna show it here. Sell price, really cheap, okay? Fairly cheap actually. And then what's it called? Oh shit, my laptop closed. Okay. On his final attack, he does all of his random, like, you know what I said, crit bleed, rupture, deadly crit, hemorrhage. He does all of these. It's no longer random, it's guaranteed, okay? He does all of these on his final attack. So his DPS is actually really good. I'm pretty sure it was a cool 70 million DPS. I'm pretty sure it was 70 million DPS. No, 66. 66 million DPS, 90 million DPS with Blood Queen. Really good. But you're not really going to be using Blood Queen anymore. It's a lot of DPS, okay? That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Okay. Moving on. Choso, yeah. This is probably going to be... No, it's probably not going to be controversial, but it's Choso, okay? This is Choso. Bloody brother. He is... I don't know if I should call him mid or good or terrible. I don't know. He's just middle of the road, okay? I'm pretty sure I don't have him, by the way. No, I do have him, but I've never used him. I'm only going off people and his stats. But on placement, he has 40 range. 40 and 40 range. That's not good. And his best trait is Honored One, not even Fallen One. So it doesn't even get buffed that much. Why it's Honored One? Because his ability, which does a shitload of damage, but also does hemorrhage, does not scale off of TFO. So his best trait is Honored, which means his placement is just dog shit, bro. 40 range, and although it has his ability on placement, the ability CD is 30 seconds. He is a 40 range unit. His ability CD is 30 seconds. You are not doing shit on that, okay? You're just not, okay? Like, put the fries in the bag. That's not doing anything. 40 range, horrendous. Now, this is his placement, of course. It's bound to be bad, but units above here are gonna be way better. I'll tell you, especially when it's Yuki. And his max is pretty bad. I guess it's mid. Okay. He's a full AOE poison. Poison does 300% of his damage stat every 5 seconds. It's good, but not when you're using Honored One, okay? It does, I think, around 130 million damage stat every 5 seconds. Sounds a lot, but DPS terms, that's like 20 million DPS, okay? It's not that good. His ability is the main bulk of his damage, though. But although he is a full AoE DPS, his ability is not a full AoE, okay? It's not a full AoE. It's a glorified circle AoE. He drops these traps. With his ability, he can explode them, each one of those dealing 5x his damage stat, and applies hemorrhage of that damage stat, but as I said earlier, it doesn't scale off of TFO. It's really mid, okay? It does a lot of damage, though. I admit, he is one of the best burst DPSs in the entire game, but does not compare to Yuki Tsukumo. I will explain that later, as I said earlier. He's okay? Good for AoE. Poison is a permanent dot, by the way. I forgot to mention that. I should probably mention that. But his burst DPS is good, but it's a circle AoE. It's not really a full AoE. And his ability CD is 30 seconds. And each of his traps are small. The circle AoE is not that big. It's pretty small. And the enemies, if they're fast enough, can outrun them. I've tried it in training field before. On a normal enemy that's 5 speed, usually they only get hit by 1 trap. Yeah. Moving on. That's Choso. We've already explained Nagamo. Next up is my favorite unit in the entire game, Hinata Sakaguchi, also known as True Saint. Her attainment. Oh my god. Okay, my fault. Her obtainment is a bitch, okay? She is from Abyss, stage 50-50. Abyss is not really usually that hard. It's just a time waster. But Hinata Sakaguchi is an amazing fucking unit, okay? But not compared to the others because they're all just a lot better, okay? Except for Yamato. Yamato is a bit iffy. I'll get to her later. Hinata is... Yeah. Hinata is amazing, okay? Because on placement... Oh, wait, hold on. She's a 4 placement. Her best trait is Streamliner. Not Honored One, but if you do get Honored One, you can keep it. But Streamliner is just a lot better, okay? I'll explain it. Because her placement, she is a Nullify. A full AoE Nullify every 10 seconds. This is her sub-passive. Her actual passive is Void, which is Decay and Superpower. Superpower is just a little bit debuff. But with Decay, that makes her a really strong sub-DPS. Because your main unit can destroy the main bulk of the HP. And then Hinata can swoop in, use her Decay to multiply her DPS by at least 3 times, and then just nuke them down more. That's what a sub DPS is. And with her Nullify, I'll explain what Nullify is. Nullify is that you can change every unit's type back to ground. So resist enemies to ground, all of them to ground. Except metals. Metals are a bitch. We hate metals. Okay. Moving on. Oh my god, my nose. It sucks. Shit. Okay. Continuing. Hinata, every single upgrade of her is really good, okay? You can place 3 of her immediately. She can kill, comfortably actually, 3 million HP enemies. And FYI, there are no 3 million HP enemies on wave 1 outside of Abyss stage like 130, which I am on right now. And, yeah, she's just fucking amazing, okay? With her nullifying placement, that makes her able to kill every single type of enemy on placement. Not just on... Yeah, just every single enemy, okay? Except metals. Metals are a bitch. But she can just solo all of them on placement. So, immediately, her versatility, viability is just through the roof. With Streamliner, she's really cheap, okay? Like, 200k for all of them. And you don't even need to max all of them. You just use her for replacement. That's fine. You just use her for better early game. That's fine either. She's just amazing, okay? She does, with Honored One, not recommended by the way, 78 million DPS. 78 million DPS. With Streamliner, she does half that. No, not half that. It's like 58 million DPS. I've counted. And her circle AoE is ginormous, okay? Her range is a lot. It's like 200 range or something. And as I said, she's pretty cheap. She's just amazing, okay? She's just really good. And then above this is a unit that has a niche, but that niche is really useful because Abyss is really useful. That being Oni Princess, i.e. Yamato. I'm going to call her a her. You can go fuck yourself, okay? Yamato is this bitch, okay? She does Rising Voltage. Rising Voltage, one of the worst dots in the game. It has the highest damage stat, but the thing is you can't use them with stun. Yeah. Rising Voltage gets fucked in the ass if you use her with a stun. It really sucks, okay? So, the reason why she's above Hinata is because of her passive. She penetrates every single resistance in a game. She's a high replacement, so flying. Her passive states that she can pump through metals. Metals! Yeah, one of the most important unit types in the game, especially in Abyss. Resist, so she just does it. She's amazing, okay? Yeah, why did I place Hinata above Yamato? No, why did I place Yamato above Hinata? You know what? Okay, let's just say this, okay? Hinata is above Yamato, okay? Hinata is above Yamato, okay? So just remember that. Yamato is Rising Voltage DPS. She does 64 million DPS. I think the main reason why I placed her above Hinata initially is because she solos Abyss. Not like entirely. She does need some support, like a debuffer, not stun, like probably like another sub DPS or something. But with just that, she can go from Abyss Stage 1 to Abyss Stage 75 all by herself with some support, okay? Maybe like Makima for some sub DPS, okay? She is just really good. Although Toby stages are an issue. Toby stages you have to use a different team. But excluding those, she can just solo it, okay? With the following one trait. She is a one placement. She has a really thick line. She's she's the same price as Hinata basically, so that's something worthy of note. Now, moving on from Yamato, we have Yuki. Yuki, yeah, I've been glazing her this entire time, haven't I? Yuki Tsukumo is unironically one of the best units in the entire game, probably. But she is a niche. Niche because okay, no, yeah, she is definitely not the best unit. She's definitely not one of the best units in the entire game. DPS is not everything. Okay, she is amazing for Prague and Prague only. Prague only. And she's weak against stages kind of like Collapse Camelot, Shadow Realm 2. She's just really weak in those because of her passive. Okay, I'll explain it. Yuki is a very tough nut to crack, okay? On her passive multiplies her DPS, no, multiplies her damage by 32 times. She relies heavily on her own summon, which inflicts gravity at 100% rate. Gravity is a 50% slow with some dot, and that summon buffs her damage by 2.5 times. And yeah, that's basically it. But the thing is, Mass multiplies her damage stat by 32 times after hitting a certain requirement. 32 times. She has a passive where her damage stat gets doubled when hitting a gravity enemy. Her SPA is really low, 5.5 on placement. And crazy of all, she's a hybrid placement. On placement, in Abyss stage 160, with enemies on spawn on wave 1 with 3 million HP and wave 6 90 million HP, she herself alone with Purify Guardian's 3x buff soloed up to wave 8 by herself with 0 upgrades up to 80 million HP, no upgrades, just a buffer. By herself, she soloed. Okay? Her summon, level 1, no, upgrade 1. She herself, upgrade 1, soloed up to wave 8 with 80 million HP enemies. You see, she has a 50% slow immediately. Amazing. She has a dot. Dot is arguably really dog shit. Don't even look at it. But her damage stat, okay? With max mass, she does 8 million a hit on placement. Placement, 8 million. Yeah. And then, okay, I'm just gonna skip through it. Her max upgrade with max mass does around 700 million damage a hit. Yeah, her DPS with max mass, all of her buffs, does 223 million DPS against a single enemy. But her max mass is a little bit weird, okay? I'll explain what mass is, okay? She is a single hit. Mass starts off at a 2x multiplier, okay? For it to get doubled, you need to hit mass 10 times. You need 10 activations of mass. So if she hits 5 enemies, she's going to increase by 5 mass stacks. So every 10 mass stacks, it will double. 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 and to 32. So it takes 40 mass activations to get to 32 times. But once you do get to 32 times, it lingers for 100 activations. 100 activations of 800 million damage each hit with a 50% slow. Yeah, and she has two abilities actually. Her first ability is a 30-second it's a 30-second local CD ability, and it does 5 times her damage stat, including her mass multiplier. By the way, 700 times 5, I don't know math, that is 35, no, that's 3.5 billion damage, I believe. Yeah, 3.5 billion damage on her local CD with a 30-second CD. And she has an ability which does 1,000% of her damage stat, which I think also multiplies on mass. But I'm not sure on that part, but it sacrifices herself. Virtual black hole, that's what it is. She is a single placement, her best trait is Honored One, okay? She is really cheap. She costs only, I believe, 120k to max out. And she is basically the highest DPS unit in this entire game for Prog. For Prog, not for Infinite. For Infinite, that's Aizen, which is the next one that I'm going to be talking about. Sosuke Aizen, the Soul God from the Miracle Station. I don't know. I don't know about him actually. I do. Okay, no, I do know a lot about him. I just don't know if he is actually that guy because I don't even have him. I'm just going by what people told me. But I admit he is probably definitely better than Yuki. Okay. You see, he has a passive. It does 50% of his damage every 5 seconds and also applies Vulnerable. Vulnerable is a passive that multiplies damage by 50% while buffing slow by 30%. Really good. Ben. No, not Ben. What the fuck am I talking about? Let me see. Okay. He has 4 forms. You use his ability to evolve to each form. Ability number 1, you have to RNG 50 seconds every 15 seconds. 50% every 15 seconds. You have to activate that 3 times for him to evolve to his second form. But his first form is needed because he has strongest. You need to max out that strongest first for his raise attack before you evolve him. You evolve him to his second form. I don't know anything about his second form. It's probably useless, but you just need to get 2.5 billion damage for him to evolve to his third form, which is where the real magic happens. You know what I'm saying? This is where it gets good, okay? Remember how I said vulnerable buff slow? His passive, like his actual passive, is pressure counter. Counter is another word for stun immunity because when he gets stunned, he does a counterattack. So he's stun immune. Perfect. And he is a pressure unit. Pressure is both slow and stun. No. Slow and superpower. But this superpower works differently. Every single wave, it goes up by 0.1 times multiplier, and it maxes out at 7 times. This is important for his last form. So he does a slow. Slow, by itself, slows by 30%, and is a permanent. It's a permanent debuff. Vulnerable on him is permanent as well. No, not really. It's kind of like a perfect loop because it's a 5-second CD, and yeah, with that he gets a 50% slow, the same way as Yuki. This is one of the main reasons why I have her up, why I have him above Yuki. And he, on his third form, he has 3 abilities. Okay, 3 abilities. He has the best rewind in the entire fucking game. 60 seconds of rewind. I don't know the CD of this, but I did hear it was a stackable rewind. Amazing. Already. Perfect. Amazing. Then he has 2 other abilities. These 2 abilities are insane. Okay? His first ability is a repeatable time stop. It's not a loopable time stop like Shanks or Dio. It's just a time stop. I don't know the CD, but I do know each activation does 10 times his damage stat and 30 seconds of time stop. 30 seconds. Wonderful. Beautiful if I say so myself. And if you activate these 3 times, you can use his other ability, which is 100 times his attack stat and time stops for 120 seconds. I don't need to elaborate more on that. That's just amazing. And I did say he has another form above this. So, if you use his ability and wait 510 seconds, not achievable in Prague, by the way, that's way too long, he evolves. His passive is the same, but this time he does 75% of his... Oh, I forgot! Shit! Okay. On his third form, his passive now has one more thing. He has massive damage against all elements. What that means, against every single element in the game, he does 4 times more damage. This carries over to his final form, which has 4 times more damage against every single element in the game. 75% damage every 5 seconds. That applies vulnerable. And remember what I said about his pressure passive earlier? It can max out to 7 times, but that's only after 40 waves. On his 4th form, it immediately maxes out. It immediately maxes out to 7 times. Yes, that's beautiful, right? He has a vulnerable, which buffs his damage by 50% already, and now his superpower is now maxed to 7 times. Yeah. And, oh yeah, did I even mention his damage stat? Third form Aizen, which was the one before this, has 135 million DPS. Already the second highest prog DPS in the entire game, but not the best infinite DPS by the entire game by far. But his 4th form has 4 billion DPS. 4 billion. 4 billion with a B DPS. His circle AoE is fairly massive. 4 billion DPS immediately. Just no cards, no infinite wave buffs, no, just him and a buffer and leader. 4 billion DPS. Yeah, his damage stat there is 1 billion at least, and although unfortunately he doesn't have a single ability. It's just him with his absurd DPS and vulnerable application. Okay, he doesn't have a nuke, so he's not really particularly used in weeklies, but in normal infinites he is used a lot because his absurd DPS. Okay, what am I supposed to tell you? Okay, he's insane. He's just really good for prog. Yeah, he's just really good for prog because of his vulnerable application and slow. He's amazing in infinites because of his absurd fucking DPS. He's used in multiplayer damage farms because of his abilities on his 3rd form. He's just really good. Okay, what am I supposed to tell you? Okay, now above him, this is gonna be weird. Okay, to some people, I have the Potential Man, Perfect Hero. Copyright name, real name, Nice, from 2B Hero X. He's just a really good unit, okay? He is a Potential Man because he leads Hero, the category Hero. We already know how big anime is as a genre and how everyone that's really powerful is just a hero. So, by proxy, the longer that this game exists, the stronger he will get because of his lead. Because his lead is really good. 120% damage and 10% cost. He's beautiful, okay? He's French kiss, okay? He's amazing. And he has some of the highest DPS in the game. 84 million DPS. He's a bit unique because his passive, he doubles the damage buffs from debuffs. Okay, so vulnerable, from 50% it gets doubled to 100%. So he just doubles his damage when a vulnerable debuff is on an enemy. He is amazing. He has an ability that does take 150 seconds for it to end, but with that he triples his DPS, and his line AoE is immaculate. Okay, he is a hill placement unit. He's just beautiful. Okay, he's a hill placement. He's really cheap. He costs I believe 150k only for amazing raw DPS because he is a resist unit. Amazing raw DPS. He is the Potential Man for leading the best category in the game in the future, and debuffs galore. When a new unit that applies a shit ton of debuffs comes out that all stack with one another, he's just gonna get buffed even more because of that person. He just has a lot of potential, and I believe that's why I place him above Aizen. Even though whatever I said about Aizen earlier makes him sound a lot better than Nice. But yeah, you can just use Nice in any hero team, any category that he's in, and he's automatically gonna be an amazing choice. This also applies to Hinata because Hinata is just amazing. Now, the top 3. These are really, really weird, okay? I don't know if I ranked them correctly. I don't know if I ranked them incorrectly. but I'm just gonna throw it out, okay? Number 3 is Nero, Uma Bride. She was meta-defining on release, I tell you what, but then she got nerfed to be just a little bit worse than she is now. She is the main reason why hypercarry teams exist, because her ability only buffs 2 random units and buffs them by 4 times. I'll tell you what, category specific general buffs are 3 times. She buffs them by 4 times. That makes the average unit go from 100 million DPS. I'm talking average. It's not average at all. I'm talking about like Saitama, who is number 1 by the way. Going from 103 million DPS, I think I put him, to over 205 million DPS by just using Umu. She's just amazing. And not only that, her as a unit herself is busted. Busted, I tell you what now. Her best DPS upgrade is upgrade 6, which just does a lot of DPS, okay? I'm pretty sure with her own buff applied, she does 70 million DPS. She's just really strong, okay? And her dot is one of the best dots in the game just because of how versatile it is, okay? Her best trait is a fallen one because she is a dot unit. And White Flames does 3 things. A lot of damage because of how she is. As I said, 70 million DPS. It penetrates resist enemies, which is a dot's main unit. Main weakness. Resist enemies. It just penetrates them. Just like that. So you can use her for resist stages immediately. Busted. Amazing. Powerful. And she also applies vulnerable with that. A perfect cycle of vulnerable. Oh, my nose. Yeah, a perfect cycle of vulnerable, really strong dot, and a resist penetration. And that's not it. That's not it. If you max her out from upgrade 6, she has a nuke. A nuke, yes, a nuke. A nuke that's perfectly usable in Infinite. She has 2 abilities. One ability that complements her nuke, which buffs her nuke by 10 seconds of time stop. Yes, it's also a time stop, by the way. I forgot to say that. It buffs it by 10% more, 10 seconds more of time stop, and an entire multiplier of nuke damage, total damage nuke. So, and it maxes out at 300 seconds of time stop. Yes, and 25 times total damage. So what I'm saying is she is a 25 times total damage nuke with a 300 times 300 seconds time stop alongside that. She is just a beautiful unit, I tell you what. Now, number 2 is Unohana, our most latest, freshest festival unit in the game. She is a prog merchant, but she makes Abyss basically a joke, okay? She just basically a Abyss joke. I'll explain why. She penetrates everything, okay? Flying enemies on placement, fluents, healers, and metals. Metals are the biggest problem in Abyss, by the way, if you cannot tell, because crit units are few and far between. The reason why she does damage to metals, despite being a dot unit, is because her passive, melting, is true damage. It applies to every single enemy in the game, except for resist. Resist enemies are a problem, not metals. I don't know, okay? Her problem is metals, okay, not resist. So you need to bring a separate unit for resist, okay? That's the problem. Now, her DPS, this is what matters. Her DPS is 70 million, but she doesn't have a buff herself. So Umu is immediately worse than her DPS wise because she has a chance to not buff herself. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Unohana does 70 million DPS. She is a 1.5 SPA, really large cone AoE hemorrhage. And her passive, as I said earlier, melting, is true damage, and by itself does 43 million DPS, I think. because it is a permanent dot, like poison from Choso earlier. It's a permanent dot. Once applied, it will never go away, and it ticks every single second. So there's no like leeway for the enemy to just walk out. It will die. The enemy will die because of melting. So if you just bring a stall or two, the enemy will just die because it's a permanent dot and it's a really fast dot. And you might be like, oh my god, that's she? She's dumb as shit. She sucks. Look at her passive. This is her passive. Look at that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it, okay, it says it heals. My nose fucking sucks. Jeez, God. Yeah, she heals 1 times her damage stat. Oh my, laptop closed. Okay. She heals 1 times her damage stat, which I believe normally is 5 million. It's either 5 million or 4 million. It's 5 million every 5 seconds. Bear in mind, the best base healer right now is actually, I'm pretty sure it's Ultimus Avalon. She only heals 25,000 every 5 seconds. 25,000. Unohana heals 5 million every 5 seconds, actually. So, in an actual prog run, I believe I might show an image here, she heals up to 500 million HP in a normal prog run. 500 million HP. Gappy only heals up to 300 million, I believe. Yeah, she's amazing. And not only that, she cleanses. You can probably see it here. She cleanses as well. She cleanses every single debuff. Not stun, debuff. Debuff is definitely going to be important later on. Because right now, I believe there's only one unit that debuffs your unit. No, one enemy that debuffs your unit, that being Oberon from Collapse Camelot. Because he reduces your damage stat by a lot, and that's a debuff. So it might be plausible, I don't know. Unohana can remove that debuff and make you gain your damage back. The reason why I say this is going to be really important in the future is because Persona will have a Ultra Boss. The Persona update will have an Ultra Boss with 14 phases, which I believe will have a lot of debuffs. Unohana right now is the only unit that can remove debuffs. You know where that's going. And she also heals, and she feeds. Her feed isn't really that good, but she also feeds. That's important. And I believe that's all about Unohana, I think. Yeah, she's a prog demon. She makes the business easy. She makes every single prog in the game easy. But, oh yes, I remember, there's a really big flaw of her. Her passive, which does that melting, does not hit super bosses. It does not inflict against super bosses. It does not inflict against ultra bosses. This is really big for her. It sucks, basically. It's yeah. Voila. My sister. I apologize. Okay, now moving on. We have oh yeah, the number 1 unit in the entire game. No, not in the entire game. No, I'd probably say he's probably number. No, he's below Sid. Saitama. Saitama, casual hero plus, our goat, okay? There is just a myriad of reasons why I consider him the best festival unit. Not just me, everyone does. Objectively, he's just the best festival unit in the entire game because he is immortal. I will remind you what. I don't know what happened there. Probably a bomb. He is an immortal unit. I'll remind you what immortal does. Immortal makes you immune to everything. Everything. Except for Toby. I hate Toby. Toby's a bitch, okay? He's not immune to Toby, but he's immune to everything else. Debuffs. He's immune to deletion, like Griffith, Sid, and Morgan. And just stun in general. That's what Immortal is. Complete immunity. Except for Toby. I hate Toby. And he is a destroyer unit on placement. He has among the highest DPS, he has among the highest DPS on placement ever. Just way below Yuki. Yuki is by far the highest DPS unit on placement, by far, not even close. And he, when max upgraded, this is where it gets crazy. He is a full AoE unit. Full AoE. He does 103 million DPS. Full AoE destroyer. You might think, oh, his range is probably like really small. He has 300 range. Full AoE, global map range. And yes, I said and, by the way. He has 2 nukes. He has 2 nukes. Okay? He has 2 nukes. 15%, no, oh my god. It's 10 times total damage, and 1 times total damage nuke. I believe 10 times total damage is squirt, 10 times is serious punch, 1 times is squirt gun. The order of which you use these is actually surprising. You use serious punch first, because if you look at the descriptions, it doesn't say removes total damage. So, you're meant to use 10 times first, so you can get even more total damage, so you can use this one safely. Yeah, that's Saitama. He's not that cheap. He costs, I believe, 400,000 because he's Saitama. Okay. Okay. His passive. Yeah, those sneezes made me remember something about Saitama. His passive, every 60 seconds, he has an attack, technically, that does true damage. Same thing as melting. It damages every single enemy. This time including resist. Even metals, but not super bosses nor ultra bosses. It in total does 50 times his damage stat for 10 seconds, which is a lot of damage that you're missing out against super bosses. But everything else, it's amazing. It's also a full AoE attack. It's present on his placement, so it can save you from a lot of shit. It scales on his range, so that's something. As I said, his nukes, his nukes do work on prog. You can, I'm pretty sure Umu's nuke also works on prog, but this guy has 2 of them, and one of them is a 10 times total damage nuke. It's amazing, okay? He's just the best festival unit in the entire game. Yeah, that's basically it. Oh yeah, pricing. I should probably tell you all their prices. Nagamon is pretty cheap, 200,000. Choso is pretty cheap, I think. Hinata is buyable, 250k, I think. Yuki is really fucking cheap, she's like 120k. Yamato costs 300,000, pretty expensive. And Unohana, this is one big downside. She's really expensive. Okay? She's really expensive, okay? She costs 400,000 with leader. Without leader, she costs 600,000. On placement, she's even more expensive than Gilgamesh. 7,000 right here. Really expensive on placement. She sometimes fucks up a lot. Saitama is 6,000 on placement, but you don't even use him for early game. Because he doesn't do as much as Unohana, but he does cost around the same as Unohana on max, actually. And then Nice costs 120k, and Umu is by far the cheapest out of all of them. She costs 80k. No, yeah, she probably costs 80k. She costs 80k for max upgrade. Yeah, that's basically the entire list. 50 minutes. 50 minutes. Oh my god, how am I gonna edit this? Yeah, 50-minute long explanation on the festival rankings. I wonder how I'm gonna edit this. I'm probably gonna die. It's gonna be my first time editing a video like this. Will people even watch this? I don't even know.